Welcome to Find Your Strong, the podcast that's here to help you free yourself from food rules, fitness guilt, and those weird detox teas.
Oh, do not get me started, Ella.
All right, I won't. I'm Ella, nutritionist and intuitive eating counsellor.
And I'm Christine, personal trainer, intuitive eating counsellor, and your hype woman for joyful movement.
You are, woohoo! Together we talk to experts, share stories, and hopefully leave you feeling a bit more at home in your body.
So if you're ready, let's find your strong.
Hello and welcome to another episode. We are so excited today. We have the wonderful Sarah Dosanjh as our guest. To give you a quick bio, Sarah is a qualified and BACP-accredited psychotherapist. She specialises in binge eating, and not just through training, but her lived experience too. After over a decade of struggling with binge eating and bulimia, it was deep inner work that finally transformed her relationship with food. That journey now informs how she supports others. Since publishing I Can't Stop Eating, it's an Amazon bestseller in 2020, and I've just finished reading it. It's amazing. She raised awareness through BBC Radio 1, Sky's Round Table, BBC Breakfast, and delivering training for other professionals. Her YouTube videos exploring recovery and self-understanding have been viewed over 3 million times. And Christine, I am not surprised because she is so wonderful to listen to. She's so eloquent and when she talks and explains concepts. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, no, me too. And I've been watching, I was saying to her, I've been watching her podcast, Life After Diets with Stephanie Michelle for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And I think the conversation today was mind-blowing. I find it really fascinating and really quite surprising. So, and I think our listeners it'll resonate with lots of our listeners today.
I agree. Because there's such a massive element of just realness and authenticity
Very
to
much.
Sarah. I think because she's had lived experience of having an eating disorder, recovering from it, working her way through all of that, and her incredible knowledge and being a psychotherapist, that's obviously something that we can't speak to, is just so interesting and fascinating.
And she's very open.
Yeah.
I love that. And she welcomes tangents.
I know.
She's
She's our favorite.
So please enjoy this episode. If you like the episode, please share with your friends, share with your family, comment, send us some feedback, follow, whatever you
subscribe, like all of the above. It helps others find us.
Or just listen if that's where you're at today. But I think you're going to enjoy it. Here's
Sarah. So nice to have you on the pod, and thanks for giving up your time to be with us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hi, Ella. Hi, Christine. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure.
We're very excited. As we were just talking about before we hit record, I have been watching your podcast, Life After Diets, for a long time. I use it if I ever have got a guest on that you happen to have on. I'm like, right, let me go look at what questions you asked. It's really interesting to me. But I just wanted to start off. We have a list of questions, but as Ella has said previously, we are tangent queens and we like just letting it flow. But I really was interested to talk to you. We're going straight in. No small talk. We're just diving straight in.
Fine by me.
But I see your little cat, which...
Yeah, there's two of them. They'll be prancing around in the background somewhere. For people on YouTube, they'll see them. And just, if you're looking for more engagement on things like YouTube, getting your pets in the video.
I know.
Highly recommended.
I've just got a kitten and I am in love with cats. I don't know why I've not had cats before. They are the best. I'm just a cat person now.
Can I see your kitten before we say goodbye?
Yes.
After the recording.
Yes. She'll probably be scratching the door in a second. So, and trying to eat my gerbils.
I've got cat FOMO now. I need to get myself a cat.
You
do.
I've got two dogs downstairs, but I'm not going to schlep down and show you.
But anyway, as you can tell,
tangent already.
So I was really interested to know, you mentioned that you had a decade of struggling with eating disorders, And I'm really interested to know a little bit about your story, having come from a quite a similar place myself, and just what helped. Now, that's a big question because I'm sure there was lots of different things, but was there a turning point or was it a combination of lots of different factors?
Yes.
Yes.
The second one, but I can
Yeah.
expand if you want.
Yeah.
Um, so my onset of my disordered eating, I think, was a little bit unusual in terms of how it came about because I believe the trigger for it was hormonal originally. So I didn't realize it at the time, but I had a pituitary tumor which was affecting my pituitary function, which meant a lot of my hormones had just been suppressed without me knowing.
Mm.
So one of the first symptoms I remember being aware of was just insatiable hunger. Like think of your worst PMS day, and it was like that constantly. I could have eaten a huge meal, been absolutely stuffed at 8 p.m., gone to bed, and I would be up at midnight eating again. And I would say it's the only time really significantly in my eating disorders that I was nighttime eating, getting up in the night and eating. Um, so my weight, I was gaining weight very quickly and I was very distressed about that. And after about 9 months, that's when the binge eating, which is what I had kind of self-diagnosed with, tipped over into bulimia because I was so frightened at how quickly my body was changing in such a short period of time when my whole life my weight had been stable. I'd never had fluctuations in weight. And probably, I always struggle with the maths of this. So probably I think about 18 months after it first started was when I got the diagnosis that I had these hormonal problems. So
Okay.
when they started replacing my hormones, which was HRT, thyroxine, growth hormone, and then eventually antidiuretic hormone, um, the really intense hunger that would get me up in the middle of the night, it did abate, but I was still binging. And I was
Yeah.
still losing control, and I was still having periods of time when I would purge. I always felt like, although some of my behaviors would tip over into bulimia, more often than not, I was binging without any bulimic behaviors. So I always identified more as binge eating disorder than I did bulimia, even though there was interspersed with that. Um, and I think there's a few, you're asking what actually helped. I think I had never realized at that time how even planning to restrict could trigger binging. So I remember the first time hearing about Last Supper eating.
Yeah.
And that made so much sense to me at the time. So I think that was one of those realizations, which just for your listeners, if in case they haven't heard of it, but you may have spoken about it before, Last Supper eating is when you are planning to start a diet tomorrow or start a diet on Monday. What happens between now and then is normally this feeling of, well, this is my last chance. And it often comes from a place of, I've already blown it. So I was going to start today. I was going to be really good today, but I blew it at some point. So I need a clean slate. It's that clean slate thinking. And when I could see that, that started to make sense because I never identified as somebody who particularly restricted. I was always trying to lose this weight I'd gained through binging, but I didn't think that I was doing it in a restrictive way because 9 times out of 10, I couldn't stick to restriction for very long either. So
Mm.
that I think was one piece of the puzzle. And so through that process of letting go of pursuing intentional weight loss, the binging became less intense. It did reduce, but I still found myself eating to numb, um, having times when I was binging, but it had a different quality. It felt more emotional. It felt more like self-soothing. And I think looking back on it now, what was going on was I was struggling to come to terms with, oh, this is my life now. I have this chronic illness. I've gained this weight, which I don't think I'm ever going to lose now. I can't pursue weight loss because that's going to trigger more binging.
Mm.
Um, and I felt like I'd already lost so many years by this point, which I know in the scheme of things with a lot of people I work with, and you guys have probably had similar, I'm well aware that people have this problem for much longer than I did. But at the time in my life, I thought I'd lost so much of my life to this. Um, and I think I was just living in a place of chronic shame, really, of feeling disappointed in life, in myself, in my body, and then eating morphed into this coping mechanism. So then I became much more interested in just more existential themes about like why are we here and what are my values and how do I
Mm.
reach this place of acceptance of knowing that there are things now that have changed irrevocably through this eating problems that I've had, how do I come to a place of peace with that, knowing that I can't change that? And so that was looking at things like radical self-acceptance. I found Byron Katie and Eckhart Tolle's work enormously helpful. I also decided at this time, whilst I was still struggling with food, to train to be a therapist. And to do that, you have to be in therapy yourself. So I also had 5 years of therapy, which none of my therapists knew anything about food or eating. So in that aspect, I never felt like I got anything directly from therapy that was specifically helpful to the food. Sometimes it was actively unhelpful, like the therapist who suggested I did the 5-2 diet when I was bulimic.
Ooh.
Yeah, because she was doing it and it was working great. It was when it was really big. This must have been, was it 2013 or something like that? It was really big at that time. But it helped me to, I think, learn a lot about myself and who I see myself to be. Because I often say, I think the bedrock of disordered eating is how you feel about yourself is contingent on how you're eating. So you're eating well, you feel good about yourself. You're not eating well, you feel terrible about yourself. So my whole world could shift in an instant just because I feel like I'd messed up my eating. And there was something about becoming more aware of that and the whole, like, who am I anyway? Like, I believe I'm more than my conditioning. So some spiritual leanings in there, not religion, not a specific dogma, I think was also helpful for me.
That is so interesting. You know what? This is exactly what I wanted to ask you about it, because I've just finished reading your book, which is amazing, and I'm going to so recommend to people. It's this kind of this enmeshed kind of thing with our behaviors and our identity, and what you just said rings such a massive bell with probably all of my clients, where their identity is so tied to their eating behaviors and the way they eat, or their struggles with eating. So this kind of identification also with an eating disorder, making that your identity. So what sort of practical steps can you suggest to step away from that, to kind of one of the things you said in your book is to kind of really look at semantics and look at language, and instead of saying I am, or blah blah blah, whatever it is, to just recognize that in that moment you're feeling X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. So is that just one of the steps that you would recommend, or how would you say, how can we disentangle our identity from our eating behaviors or
Yeah.
disordered eating?
Yeah. So since writing the book, I take it a little bit further now. So one of the, I think, hardest emotional experiences that I just experience quite not as often now as I used to is despair. And that despair and hopelessness feeling, it's, for me, was the most horrendous feeling ever. Because there's a story attached to that nothing can ever get better. This is it forever. You're in this dark hole. So rather than saying I am hopeless, or even I'm feeling hopeless, or I'm feeling despair, I now say to myself, I'm experiencing. So I'm experiencing despair. And when I say to myself, I'm experiencing, for me, in that language, in that shift of the way I'm talking to myself about it, there's a part of me that can recognize the impermanence, that can remember, oh, yes, you've been here before and you've never stayed here forever. But every time you visit here, it feels like, oh, no, this is the reality, this despairing reality I have. This is the truth. Anytime that's not this, I'm just kidding myself. So I think that's one piece. I think the other piece that really helped me to be able to step back and not believe everything I think, because that's crucial for changing our minds. And our minds have got these conditioned thoughts running around all the time. And we're so seduced by our minds and we want to believe them because we think it's us realizing things rather than our mind telling us things. That's when I found the work of Byron Katie really helpful. And you can just look up her stuff on YouTube, and then she has these worksheets that you can download on her website. I have an app that I think I paid £2 for about 10 years ago. And it was just a one-off payment. And you can go through, you ask yourself questions and you question your thoughts and you look at the opposite and you find evidence for the opposite. It's quite CBT in some ways, but that has genuinely been transformative for the relationships in my life, actually, for letting go of old hurts and having a different experience now of people for whom I felt wronged by in some way. Joe Dispenza, I'm not so much into his stuff now, but back then, when I first read the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, to this day, the meditation practice I do is based on the meditation in that book, which is space meditation.
Mhm.
And I was able to, I got to a point where even when I was still actively binging, I could have binged. And when I went to bed and did my meditation, I could still feel peace.
Mm.
So I would say how I felt about my behavior around food changed before my behavior changed. And the place where I was always getting stuck is I was always trying to just change my behavior. Just stop
Mhm.
doing it. Just eat like
Mhm.
this. Just don't eat like that.
Mhm.
So that was the other resource that was really helpful. And then a lot of the stuff that Eckhart Tolle talks about being in the here and now, because
Mm.
so much of the pain is in the past. When you
Mm.
feel so horrendous after a binge, it's not just that one binge that's making you feel like that. It's every binge you've ever had gets triggered in that moment. And often every binge you imagine you're going to have in the future, the hopelessness and futility of the situation. So there was something about this coming into the here and now.
Mhm.
Like, what problem do I actually have in the here and now that isn't just this overarching story about the past and the future?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the stories we tell ourselves, isn't it? And the meaning we attach to them.
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds incredible. I really struggle with everything that you're saying in terms of from my perspective with the ADHD brain, because it makes total sense to me and I think it's spot on, but I really struggle to get there. With the work of Byron Katie, I've pushed against it because I find her fascinating, but she talked about suffering, and it's something that I wanted to bring up with you. And it's about not getting too attached, and and if you don't get too attached, you'll never suffer. There was you don't need to suffer, and oh, that just really I find that really hard. I've just lost my mum this year, and I really am like, oh, you won't, you suffer. People suffer, and you can absolutely not get too attached, but it's something that I really find hard. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make any sense, Sarah?
Of course. Of course. And I still have times when I suffer. And there's a difference between pain and suffering. So
I know.
I've lost, my mum died in 2010. And
Mm.
I have moments where I've had waves of grief that have hurt, but have felt exquisite. There isn't suffering in it. There's almost like a relief and a release. It's something moving through the body, which is incredibly cathartic. But it's still painful,
But
but
it's
I'm
not
I'm
suffering.
not suffering.
I see. Yeah.
But I think that the ideal place, like, yes, if we could like gain mastery over our minds, then sure, we wouldn't suffer.
Mm.
But I think sometimes to give this message to people, like the saying, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional, can feel a bit gaslighty when you're like, I'm suffering. I really wouldn't be suffering if I could figure out how not to suffer. And you telling me I have to just distance myself somehow, and I can't do that. It's not a helpful thing to say to people.
Yeah.
So it's just really timely because I've been talking about this in my groups recently, and I recorded a YouTube video about it today.
Oh.
Oh.
Is that I will ask people. So when you imagine the situation in your life that you feel like is causing you the most suffering or emotional upset at the moment, and if you were to ask yourself, how much of this, just instinctively, don't put any pressure on yourself to go one way or another, how much of this situation is perpetuated by your mind, what you're telling yourself, what you're believing, how you're speaking to yourself about it, versus the objective circumstances.
Mm.
And a lot of people are saying, well, actually, most of it or all of it. And it's okay if it's only a bit of it. But I don't know that any of us can say, oh, it's not my mind at all, right? The mind
Mm.
is in there
Mm.
somewhere. And I think probably in a lot of situations, it's the main perpetrator, if you like, of spinning that. Well, then that leaves us with two potential solutions. One is changing our minds, which, okay, sometimes we can do that. Sometimes we don't know how to do that with certain deep things like trauma, where it's just coming up again and again. Like,
Yeah.
how are we supposed to just change that through some kind of positive thinking? And the second would be to disidentify from our minds. Like, we're not our minds. So we're not suffering. But we're human beings, so we attach to our minds, and I do it all the time. So I don't want to sound like some grand guru here. It's got it all figured out. I've
I
just
mean,
had glimpses. I've had glimpses of it.
I mean, the what I sort of am really drawn to more now is getting into the body and sort of and that's how I would disassociate, not disassociate, that's the wrong word, but disengage maybe is just if my mind is too busy or it's telling me things that are uncomfortable or just that aren't serving me, I get into the body and move and kind of maybe do some nervous system regulation or some tapping or some. I find that that's a really nice way to calm yourself and kind of get out of that space.
Yes, I agree. And so mine would be more getting still. Because when I get still, my body calms down. Not everyone's nervous system runs like that. And this is what's unhelpful. If you're told, oh, get still in meditation, what you're saying, I think is really important, Christine, is sometimes it's movement that's needed to calm the body down, not just trying to be still to calm the body down.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
This
Yeah,
is
it's really interesting because the mind can be such an amazing tool, but it can also be such a uh, it can really hinder our progress and our healing because we are too much, we think too much and we intellectualize too much. And I like what you said, Christine, about sort of going into your body because by default that embodies you, that makes you puts you in the moment and not in the
present
past or
and
the future or the worries or the thoughts that may spiral into a rabbit hole. So yeah, it's a really interesting
We get
concept.
we get scared of our minds. I've definitely been there where I've been just scared of my mind. I'm like, I don't want to stop with my mind. Let me just keep feeding my mind. I'm going to binge on
Mm,
content. I'm going to binge on YouTube. I'm going to binge on TV. I'm
mm,
going to binge on social media, whatever it might be. Um, and this is why I feel like this work is so important. This capacity to calm our mind down, because our minds turn into these sort of tyrants, these
mm,
monsters that are dragging us around.
mm,
And I'm not saying that we'll necessarily have full mastery over our mind, or that's even the goal, but maybe a little bit more allyship.
mm-hmm,
yeah.
mm-hmm.
And so for you, is meditation a part of your daily practice then, Sarah? Would you?
I've not been as consistent as I would hope to be. So I did for, gosh, 7 or 8 years, it was every day.
Wow.
Mhm.
And then it's got really, the last couple of years, interestingly, it's got a bit more sporadic, which I've been noticing. But I've signed up for, in a couple of weekends' time, I'm going to go and do the transcendental meditation course.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking of like maybe trying a different type of meditation. I have got a friend who raves about it. Um, so yes, my plan is to, I would say it's something that I'm actively at the moment trying to figure out how to incorporate back in. But I think that the whole point in my mind of meditation is also, yes, to experience it in the moment, but ideally you have a different experience outside of meditation as well.
Mm,
Mhm.
So again, like how are we using this word meditation? I think I'm somebody who regularly like watches what's going on in her mind.
mm-hmm,
That might not be a formal meditation practice.
mm,
Um, Maybe meditation has like helped with that. I think therapy's helped with that as well, like that
mm-hmm,
constant introspection to be able
mm-hmm,
to stop and pause and look and
mm-hmm.
see what's there. Um, so yes, I have to be truthful that I've not been as consistent as I would hope to be recently. And I'm not even 100% sure what that's about.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mhm.
Have you noticed that? I mean, obviously, given that you signed up to another course, you obviously noticed that it could be beneficial to do a bit more again. Have you noticed over the last couple of years where you have been more sporadic with it that, I don't know, unhelpful things have crept back up or?
Um, Not so much, and that's probably part of it too. I haven't noticed a big difference. I did the night before last. I had a meditation practice before I went to bed, and it felt wonderful. And I had that
Mm.
whole, why aren't I doing this every single night again? Do you know what I think actually made the biggest interruption was last October getting a kitten.
Oh, there you go.
Because they had the Zoomies at the time when I would normally be meditating. I had a lovely evening practice. I'd get on my yoga mat for half an hour, do my yoga, and I'd meditate and I'd go to bed. And that's all, that was all thrown up in the air
Yeah,
by getting the cats.
kitten did not like that.
No, you don't have as much quiet time in the house with a kitten.
Yeah. So my mindfulness practice now, because someone wrote on my YouTube channel that Eckhart Tolle talks about actually playing with cats or spending time with cats. I think any pets is like a form of mindfulness.
Mm,
Mm.
And it is because I'll just play with the cats and I'm just in the moment with the cats. So maybe it's
yeah.
taking kind of different forms. that it's not
Yeah.
like I'm not having time in the moment.
Yeah, I think mindfulness can be really scary for people, especially. I mean, you obviously you like stillness, and that is helpful to you. I know a lot of people who find that the scariest thing in the world, to be still and just to be with yourself. So I often encourage people to practice very informal mindfulness, like literally when you're brushing your teeth, can you spend a moment just noticing what's going on, and or when you do the washing up, just really sort of very not sitting on a cushion and meditating for half an hour, because that seems too scary to some people. So yeah, I agree with Eckhart on that one. Like play with a kitten.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
think
do it mindfully.
Byron Katie talks about doing the dishes as a type of
There you go.
meditation as well.
Right.
No, no,
No.
no. It's you know what, this is also something I'm struggling with at the minute. I need to do the dishes. I need to be watching my favorite show. So at the minute I prop up my laptop, so I'm watching TV while I'm doing the dishes, which is really bad. And it's the opposite of, well, it's not bad. There's no good and bad with it. But it is the opposite of being mindful.
Because
Because
that's okay. We don't have to.
We don't have to be mindful all the
My
time.
supervisor, I was saying to her, this was a couple of years ago, I was talking to her about, I feel like I'm just checking out because I'm watching this TV thing, I'm checking out. And she said to me, I think sometimes we just need to check out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what? It was the first time it occurred to me because I think I
Mm-hmm.
had this sort of grand idea that this self-actualization place or whatever is about being constantly in the moment. And maybe it is, but I'm a human being and I shouldn't kid myself beyond my own evolution.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, 100%. I think we can't. And I think it's not, I mean, we'd be a monk somewhere in,
That sounds
I don't know,
wonderful. I
Tibet.
think I could do the monk life.
Could you?
Oh, I'd love to.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you not get bored? I think I'd get bored with
No,
not.
because you'd be in a state of bliss all the time,
Yeah, maybe.
you know.
That would take a lot of practice for me to get into that state of bliss.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just like 2 days of camping is enough for me.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that interesting? I remember listening to 10% Happier podcast, and Dan Harris had on Cara Lai, who's a meditation teacher, and she's just spent a year at a retreat, a meditation retreat, like a full year. And so she kind of left her husband and left the area that she was living in, went and
Like left her husband as in broke up.
no, no,
Oh.
just it was a full
Just for a
year.
year.
So it was like, bye, I'll see you in a year. I'm off to meditate for a year. And I find it really fascinating because I have a lot of time for her. But equally, it was more like through anthropological lens because I'm like, there's no way I would want to do that. But I was fascinated by somebody who would
I'd love to do that.
really.
Yeah, gosh, if someone said, cover your bills, off you go, I'd be like, thanks.
Bye. Wow.
No.
Yeah.
Ella, would you?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I could do a whole year. I did
No.
a meditation retreat once for a long weekend, and there was that was plenty, I would say.
So, talking about the meditation and kind of going in and out of it, I got really into tapping, EFT, sort of emotional freedom technique. And I find a tapping teacher who I loved, Jason Winters, and I had him on the podcast. And because of the ADHD thing, I get obsessed. I'm like, he's on the podcast, and then I buy everything that he's ever done. And and I tapped consistently for quite a long time, and it was fabulous. But then it fell away.
Mhm.
And I kept saying to him, why am I not tapping? And he was like, ask yourself why and keep. And I couldn't quite work it out. And it is an interesting one, isn't it? Why am I choosing not to? Or why am I shying away from it or not giving myself that time?
I relate to that. And I also think, through an ADHD lens, the brain craves novelty, right?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
might be that your brain does want to move on to the next thing. And rather than going like, oh, I should just be able to stick at this one thing, how about you just go like, this is how my brain operates, and let me just try and go with it instead of getting into a battle with it. Go do some come do some TM with me.
I
Yeah,
mean, I
try it.
might look into
I
that.
also wonder whether some of these things are tools that serve us for a period of time, and then when we kind of fall off them, or that we don't use them as much, we maybe don't need them as much as we did before. I don't know. That's just a thought that occurred to me just now, because sometimes we really need to do something to help us through particular period of time. And then when we got through that, maybe the tools are not as effective or as efficient anymore. We need something different, or we don't need anything for a period of time. I don't know.
I think sometimes that is the case. And I also think partly, does it matter? You know, we always try and figure out like what's the motivations, because somehow if it's just fallen away, but I benefit from doing it, and it's not because, you know, it's had its use, then I can make myself wrong for that and go, well, you should be doing it because it would be beneficial for you.
Yeah.
Instead of just, yeah, I'm a human being and I struggle a bit with consistency sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to tangent away and circle back to I find it really interesting what you said about your therapist when you were in therapy, the 5-2, and how it's just so refreshing and nice to have a therapist who is aligned in terms of eating disorder recovery. So my daughter struggled with an eating disorder, and it was really a struggle to find a therapist who would be able to help her or would understand kind of what she was dealing with and wouldn't further trigger her or just, you know, accidentally do harm without realizing. And it's just really, it's a very important, I think, to have that therapist who's aligned with that kind of recovery. And I have a therapist that who I love, but she started talking to me about the fact she only eats 2 meals a day at 11 and 3 and then doesn't eat. And I immediately was like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I'm like, maybe I should do that. And I'm like, no, go away, go away. And it is, I think it's so important. I don't know if you could speak to that a little bit. Do you tend to work with clients who, is it general clients, or do you tend to work with people who are recovering from eating disorders?
So I work with binge eating only. So some people, they would be falling into the binge eating disorder criteria and other people not. So really it's any kind of where people feel like they're having problematic bouts of out of control eating. You know, we don't have to put a label on that. But it's just, it's kind of the bane of my life a bit, because I struggle to have other therapists to recommend people to. Because it is one of those things that, because it seems to defy rationality, when you really understand binge eating and the mechanisms of it, it does make sense, but it seems to defy rationality when you're in it. And so therefore, for any therapist who doesn't understand it, gosh, the things my clients tell me that previous therapists have said to them, you know, when they don't get it. And I think it's a big piece of why people come to me, because they know and they feel it that I get it. But also recognizing with every therapist, personal bias is going to come into it. We're human beings. We can't get rid of it. The reason why we have supervision is to be examining our personal biases, because we can't put them anywhere else. So I will tell people when they come to me, some people will come and say, I think I'm addicted to sugar and I think I need to cut sugar out. Now, I respect that that might be how somebody sees their problem and that's their truth. And that there are some people out there who take that approach, and that does seem to be their way through it. But it doesn't fit with my frame and my modality. So I'm very upfront about that. Like, my model is a food freedom approach. And that's not to say someone's wrong for doing it differently. But because my bias is so strong, if I were to try and work with somebody who's trying to quit sugar, I think I'd be conflicted.
Yeah.
And that would show up. It would show up in places where I'd be looking for ways to kind of go, oh, see, this is why this doesn't work. And this is why you should think of it like that. And that can happen kind of in a more negative way when you are sitting with a therapist who perhaps doesn't understand the food stuff at all. But I think there's a lot of resources out there which can be really helpful. So I don't think everybody has to work with a eating specialist in order to recover. Because if you are able to educate yourself on it, you can take that stuff into therapy and try and work on how to actually apply it. But yeah, if you've got therapists out there who, like my therapist was doing the 5-2. So that was her bias that was coming in. And she was in a small body, and she had been since before she started doing the 5-2. So I don't know what was going on for her, why she was doing the 5-2 to begin with. But that bled into the session. And I used to do training for therapists on binge eating. I used to do weekend training. And there was one therapist who'd done my training. And then I'd met her socially. And the way she was talking about food and talking about this work, I thought, did you not hear a bloody thing I said? Like, I was like, it really disheartened me with actually doing the training for the therapist, because I don't know. I just felt like the message wasn't going in. I thought maybe that's something in how I was communicating it. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you said to speak to it, but I feel like I've been quite negative. I didn't mean to be.
No. It's Ella, I don't know if you're similar, but I do work with clients who still want to lose weight, but I make it very clear that that's not something that I can help them with, or that it's not a goal I set when I'm teaching movement at all. And it is, I get clients telling me, "Oh, I've just started this new diet," and I just immediately want to go. And I try not to react and be judgmental, but they all go, "Christine, I can see your face." I can't hide it. I'm like, and so I think it's a conflict for me, but I don't want to not work with somebody, because if they want to work with me, they know that weight loss is not something. I don't work for aesthetics, so they know that. So there must be a part of them that is curious, at least. So that's why I sort of, even though there might be a slight conflict there, I feel like I can continue to work with them, because I'm not giving them meal plans. I'm not talking to them about food. It's more about the movement side of thing. But Ella, I don't know about for you.
Yeah, I mean, I set that out quite, initially in the discovery call, even that I don't work on intentional weight loss. So but like you, I still get clients that are hoping that intuitive eating will lead to that.
Yes, they do. They do.
That just generally happens, and it's usually in session 4 or 5 is like, oh, I have to be honest with you, Ella, I was hoping that it would lead to weight loss. I'm like, I'm not surprised, and let's talk about it. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, it is one of those things that people kind of find very difficult to not focus on.
And people move in and out of it as well. So one week someone might come to me and they're like, "Yep, I'll do anything to stop binge eating. I don't care about the weight loss. I'm just in too much pain with the binge eating." And then another week, maybe they've seen a photo or they've got an event, suddenly that's live again. So it is going to come in and out.
Yeah.
And so it's a conversation that I am having regularly, pretty much with every client that I have. I don't think there's many clients I've worked with that have come in and been like, "I'm absolutely done with weight loss. It feels very kind of black and white." And it's a solid, because we are conflicted and we're being bombarded with messages all over the place about it as well.
Absolutely. Can I just very briefly, I know we're kind of almost at the end of our time together, but when you said conflicted and we're talking about sort of dieting and the wish to lose weight, I do need to mention the GLP-1s and clients that choose to take those medications. And is there for you, if you work with someone who takes those weight loss injections, is there a conflict? Is there something that you feel? I know that you have a support group for people who are on them.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a
Yes.
little bit about that? I think this is another whole podcast episode
Yeah.
to talk about it. And also, I just want to say I'm going to link in the show notes to your and Stephanie's conversation about GLP-1s, because I thought that was very refreshing and very interesting to hear that there is no clear yes or no, that there is no clear we should never take them. But we need to be aware of what the consequences of taking them are, especially if we are in recovery from disordered eating or an eating disorder. But yeah, I just wanted to check in with you about your support group and how you handle that, because that is a bit of a conflict if you are coming from a food freedom, intuitive eating, non-weight centric approach, and someone is very clearly on a drug that is meant to help them lose weight.
It's an emotive topic, the GLP-1s, and people tend to go very strongly one way or another. And I've always been a bit of a fence sitter, not because I'm indecisive, but when you sit on the fence, you can see both sides.
True.
I'm
going to quote that.
it's a therapy group that I run. So it's not just a support group. This is people who are actively trying to work on their relationship with food whilst on these medications as well. So we're in an experiment because it is such early days. There
Mm-hmm.
is no research on these medications, along with disordered eating
Mm-hmm.
recovery. Um, we don't have the data on the long-term use of these medications for weight loss purposes. We
Mm-hmm.
do, because people say it's been around for 20 years for diabetes, but the weight loss dose is, I think, 3.5 times higher than the
Wow.
diabetes dose. So we
Right.
don't have more than 2 years of data, as far as I'm aware. Maybe we're kind of going a bit further than that now
Mm-hmm.
on this longer term at these level doses.
Mm-hmm.
We also, appetite is so complex. So it could be for someone who's having a binge eating problem, maybe it is insulin resistance or PCOS or something very biological that is shooting their appetite up and making it really hard for them to feel regulated with food that no amount of therapy or emotional and psychological work is going to touch.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an argument kind of in this case that this could be helpful for some people. There are also people who I'm working with where the quality of their life is so significantly impacted by their weight. And it's all very well for the Hayes people to come along and say, well, you can do some like strength exercises, you can do some mobility. But when you are struggling to walk certain distances and life has become very difficult from a mobility perspective because of your weight, that can be understandable, like in those situations as well. The bit where we're getting into danger zone is, and I also want to say, I'm not casting any moral aspersion on any use of this, even if it's for aesthetics. I'm not moralizing that because I understand how people's body image can be so distressing that for them it feels as disabling as somebody who's struggling to move around because it's affecting them that much in the world as well. But then on the other side of it, we've got people that are struggling with body image and like their bodies are functional, they are able to navigate the world and all of that, and they're taking it in the hope that shrinking their body is going to make them feel better about themselves. There's also, because we all know about food noise, right? There's a lot of food noise, and these medications can get rid of food noise. Just like when you probably have this, Ella, when you work with someone who's binge eating and they start eating more consistently, that as well can get rid of food noise for some people.
Mm-hmm.
But what tends to happen with the disordered eating bunch, more than what I want to call the Gen Pop, who's just like not in the disordered eating category, but perhaps wants to lose weight for various reasons. In the disordered eating category, I've just lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
That for the people who have disordered eating or an eating disorder who take those medications, it's
Oh,
different than
the
the
food noise, that was
the
it.
food noise.
The
Yeah.
food noise. So the food noise gets quiet, but what gets very loud is body noise.
Ah,
So now that obsession that used to be on food is on their body.
right.
And that is dangerous when you have this medication in your hand that you can manipulate your appetite with, you can change your body shape with. And so there are some people who are very vulnerable to taking it too far. And many people who struggle with binge eating got to binge eating because they were originally restrictive.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be like, well, I'm a binge eater now, I'm not a restrictor anymore. But sometimes the restrictive voice just goes dormant.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be woken up with these medications as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally I have a lot of concerns about them. I
Mm-hmm.
would never recommend or encourage anybody to go on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I did have a conflict where it's like, I want to offer this space for people to work on this. And I want to understand the impact better as well.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like I'm now an advocate for
Mm-hmm.
GLP-1s because I'm offering a place for people to come and actually work on them? So that I think has probably been more of the conflicting part. And yeah, for most people with disordered eating, it's not like they're taking these medications and everything's fine, even when they're on them. These are people who are still saying, I need therapy because I'm still struggling with food. I'm still struggling with my behaviors and my mental health around food. So it's complex. I'm conscious of time, so I'm trying to keep my answers
Yeah.
concise as possible, but throw as much in there. So that
No,
might
that
be a
was
bit
really,
garbled.
yeah, no, that was really helpful. And as I said, I'm going to link to your and Stephanie's episode in the show notes. So if anyone wants to sort of hear the extended version, they can just listen to that episode, which was really, really good and helped me kind of get clear on a few things. So thank you for that. Really
And
appreciate it.
I think it is that sort of it seems to be at the moment the NHS are quite happy to hand it out without much research into why they're handing it out. So certainly a friend of mine was given it within, a 10-minute consultation because she had a backache. And it was like, well, lose some weight. So here we go. And it just feels, yeah, yeah. We're not, there's a lot of gray. There's a lot of gray there.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, as you say, Ella, it could be another podcast.
Yes. It needs to be.
Are we going to do that question?
Yes, yes. You're the first one, Sarah. You're the
I mean,
honored,
it's a
honored
weird
first
question
guest.
because you might not understand what we mean.
Well, it's open to interpretation, isn't it?
Yeah, so this podcast is called Find Your Strong, and I named it before Ella came along. And you decided, oh, we'll just keep it. So
No, we kept it because I like it.
I like it. And Find Your Strong to me means find what works for you. So one person's strength routine or what is strong for one person is not going to look the same to another. Strength training for me doesn't look the same to a weightlifter in a gym so it's finding your strong. So if we asked you, what does that mean for you? How would you find your strong? Is that what we're trying to say, Ella?
That's what we're trying to say.
With movement, or is more like just a metaphor?
Anything, really?
Anything you like, Sarah. Anything you like.
Okay.
Putting you on the spot here.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
I think. Do you know? I just tell you what's popped into my head. You know how, like, the word manipulation has a really bad rap because it sounds like if you're manipulating people, you're being really insincere. But actually, people manipulate to different degrees. I'm not talking about cruel manipulation because they don't know how to get their needs met. So what came to my mind actually was it's Martha Beck's book, actually, The Way of Integrity.
Love her.
Which is about being really honest, even when it's hard to be, which isn't just saying everything that comes into your head or being unkind or opinionated, but it's those times when, what we want to do is we want to just say the thing to like gloss over, but actually going back and saying the difficult thing, I think, is such a strength. And I think it creates such safety in relationships as well. Like, I've got a couple of friends where we have that relationship where I know if I've said or done something that's bothered them, that they'll mention it because they'll understand my motives are in the right place, but also like they want to clear the air. And I'm like that as well. And so I love that. And it's quite a scary thing to do sometimes. Now, if you've ever said something to someone, you're like, oh, I think I hurt them there. Well, let's just pretend that didn't happen and move on. To go back and say, did that hurt when I said that? And where that came from. So I would say Find Your Strong is about being honest, even when it's difficult for you personally. I'm not talking about like making it difficult for other people, but when the easier thing is to try and be indirect to get an outcome. So if you are wanting support for something, you might hint rather than just saying, I need your support here. Because I think, for me anyway, I have this idea that what many of us want is we just want another human being to be perfectly attuned to us, perfectly attuned to our needs, and to read what we need. And anything less than that's not good enough. But to actually put ourselves out there and say, I need something from you. Are you willing to give that to me? I think it's quite a vulnerable thing to do. I think it's quite scary. I think we devalue it. And that was just the first thing that popped into my head with the question. So that would be my answer.
I mean, that's incredible. I'll put Martha Beck's book in the show notes as well, because I think she spent a whole year, didn't she? And she didn't tell a lie for a whole year, and had lots of consequences. But it's just fascinating. It's a great book to read. Sarah, thank you so much for being so generous with your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been good to connect.